welcome to the Mindful Dose YouTube channel, podcast, wherever it is that you're watching. It's the Mindful Dose space that I've created over 7 years ago. For the last 3 years, I have been kind of going through a transformative period. My fiance passed away suddenly, and that has put me in a place where I'm just kind of picking up the pieces, and it's been a slow process. We share a son together, and there were assets involved. And unfortunately, I'm kind of going through a legal process to move into the next phase of mine and my son's life. So it's been 3 years, and I'm still in that process. Um, I have been, uh, I have been just all over the place. Mindful Dose hasn't been what I have envisioned for it to be, and that is because of the many life changes that I have gone through. This is a one person business, and because I'm now a mom and I'm a widowed mom, my energy has been poured elsewhere for the best reasons, right? So, anyway, I am here because I wanted to start sharing my process with you guys. Initially, when my fiance passed away, his name is Jason. When he passed away, I was very confused. There's a term that I felt was proper to express how I was kind of showing up, and that was feeling like my brain was scrambled eggs. It was just kind of messy and all over the place and sloppy. Somehow I managed. I managed to get through day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. Now I'm in a much more grounded place, and I feel like I can show up to my business even though it doesn't look how I want it to look. I don't have an office space. I'm not even in our own home. We just sold our home about a month or two ago, and I'm in this in between place until the legal process is complete and I'm able to purchase our next home and really settle into that next phase of our life. So, with all that being said, I'm showing up as is. Part of the spiritual journey. I mean, a big component to a spiritual journey is understanding that you are where you are and life won't look as perfect as you want it to be. So, I'm showing up here to let you guys know that I'm here. I'm still doing my card work. I have my decks here that I have been using consistently for the last couple of weeks. And this video is more of a blog. It's not perfect right now because I'm currently I'm staying with my in-laws for a vacation trip, and I don't have all of my equipment to, make this recording as clean and crisp as possible. But I hope that you stick around because the information that I give to you is pretty valuable, and it may not look like a Hollywood production, but that shouldn't matter. The quality of the message and of this connection is much more important than the quality here. I just hope that it comes through clear enough for you to understand. So, with that being said, I set myself up. I have my reading cloth set up, and I have the two decks that I work with. So, the tarot deck that I work with is the Mythic Tarot deck by Juliet Sharman Burke and Liz Green. This tarot deck is very magical to me. I feel it like the palms of my hands feel really connected to this tarot deck. And when I do my readings, it just feels like the most powerful message that could possibly come forward. I really connect to this deck lately. And then I am training to be a certified Hellenistic astrologer with Chris Brennan. So I work with an oracle deck. I always work with an oracle deck, but the one that I have been using to support my astrology practice is the Stars Divine deck by Alejandra Leon. You can look her up, the Lioness Oracle Tarot. I'll link everything below so that you can follow yourself to see if you'd like. I know that she's out of print on this, and I'm not sure if she's going to restock, but I know she's coming out with a new tarot deck, which I'm really excited for. In the meantime, I do supplement my readings lately with this Stars Divine deck. It's astrologically based, and I just love the artwork. So, This reading that I'm going to do is a personal reading, and the purpose of me sharing this reading is to show you how I begin the process, how I connect with the cards before I draw the cards, how I shuffle. I just want you to see the intimate practice from beginning to end. I have been developing my own practice for almost 10 years, and I have seen a lot of other readers, and they all have their own methods of connecting with the deck before reading and then doing the reading itself. There's no right or wrong way. It just, whatever feels right to you in that moment, and know that you can change. So I have not done a reading for myself or for anyone since I have been here with my in-laws. It's been over a week now, and my palms, like I said, I really connect to the cards through my palms. I just feel, it feels like a subtle pressure that I feel in my palms, and I feel like I'm ready to do this reading. So I don't have a formal preparation other than just centering myself. So before I hit record, I closed my eyes, found my center. So I did my grounding. One treat that I like to do for myself is one of my friends. She owns a like a soap business, but she does more than soap, and she has given me an all-purpose healing salve. It's just this little salve, and I like to. It's very light and very subtle, and I like to just prep my hands with it because it has a very clean, subtle smell to it. It doesn't leave my hands oily, so I don't worry about that transferring to the cards. But it's kind of like it's like priming the tools here. So that's two things that I do before I even pick up the cards. I center myself and then I prep my hands. And now I'm going to shift the camera so that you can see how I work with the cards. So I'm going to start with the tarot deck by prepping it. Since it's been a really long time since I've used the deck, I'm going to touch all of the cards. And this is just one way that you can connect with the cards. And there's 78 in total. And there's just something intimate about holding each card between your fingers from the top of the card to the bottom of the card. Just familiarizing yourself with the quality of the cardstock, of the finish, warming up your palms, your hands, and connecting your energy to every single one of the cards. So right there, two cards came out, and I just made sure to touch both of them. And what my left hand is doing is it's holding the pile of cards and it's shifting one card out so that my free hand can receive that energy. All right, so I finished the tarot deck. I'm going to do the oracle deck now. Same thing. Now, when you're working with two different cards, you'll notice that there's a difference in the weight of the pile, of the cardstock itself, and that's also exciting. Gives you a different experience with the message that comes forward and how those cards' activity shows up in the reading. So you can work with a lot of your senses here. So obviously there's touch, but there's also the sound. So the way that this cardstock hits the pile is a lot louder than this cardstock. All right, So I did that deck. I do like to leave my decks on the cloth itself and not on the surface that the cloth is on. But if you know you need this space, it's totally fine. There's really nothing wrong with that. All right, so now that I've connected to the deck, you can you are now connected to the deck. So the cards will begin to speak and move with the currency of the energy present. So, like I said, this is a personal reading, and before I even begin, oh my God, like the power in my palms, it's very strong. Um, I do want to do a reading for myself. As I mentioned, I am going through this transition period, and the purpose of this vacation at my in-laws is to look at homes and neighborhoods for where I want to relocate to. It's an out-of-state journey, so everything is pretty different, and I'm pretty set now on moving our life over here in Florida. Um, so I just kind of want to get a general message on um, on the next steps ahead. Okay, so before I actually uh, connect my intention to the reading, there's something that I want to mention, and that is when you go to get a reading from a reader, or if you're practicing with your own cards and connecting to your own intention, it's really important that you connect to the question specifically, or the topic specifically. And I want you to give yourself the permission to push anything that your heart's not ready for to be revealed. So, for example, last night I was just kind of pondering because I knew I was going to do a reading for myself. I was pondering what I really wanted to know, and there were some questions that I had up in the air. And I just wasn't ready in my heart to draw cards on certain questions or topics. And if just imagine a message being revealed to you regarding that topic, do you feel like you're hiding from the message just at the thought of doing that? Or do you feel open and ready to receive the message? There's a distinct feeling towards finding an answer and learning of the message. Do you feel restricted or like you don't want to see the message? Or do you feel curious and ready no matter what that message is, even if it's not what you want to hear? If you feel open and ready, then proceed with the reading. But if you feel restricted, then give yourself some time. It may not be the right time, or it may not be something you should consult the tarot with. And if you, let's say, you still consult the tarot, even if you feel restricted, make sure that you have the tools at hand and ready to access when you do that tarot reading or when you receive that tarot reading, such as finding something to ground you. If it brings you so much anxiety up here, find something to anchor you to the moment and to ground you and to settle the weight of that answer with you in that moment. Because now you have just revealed an answer, and now you're carrying this weight that you don't mentally quite feel ready to process. So you have to be able to anchor yourself. I suggest going the route where you feel open and ready, because with your heart open and ready to receive a message, you are better equipped emotionally and mentally to process the message. I, as a tarot reader, do not deliver any type of message that is anxiety inducing and to leave you in fear. I deliver the message whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, and I make sure that we have a peaceful execution plan to work with that message. Okay, the power lies within yourself to work with the message. But if you do not feel powerful enough to even receive the message, don't go forward with that. Your power lies in saying no. Okay? All right. So I am going through this transition phase, leaving the home that I have built with my fiance and moving into a life where it's just me and our son. It has been a 3-year journey, and I'm in the last leg of that journey. It feels scary and exciting, and I want to consult the cards. I want I want a message to ground me. I have done a lot to get this ball rolling. I know there's still more of me left to do. I have an idea of the home that I want to select. Legally, I have done everything. I'm up to speed now. It's just in the courts ball, the courts court. Oh my God. The ball is in the court of New York State. Um, so I want to consult the cards to just see. There's actually two homes that I'm looking at, two different styles of homes, and I'm unsure which one I want to take. So I'm going to consult the cards on if I choose this home A or home B, and then I'll consult the oracle deck for just like some cosmic information. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so when we, connected with all the cards, the pile was left as one pile. So I shuffled. There's no right or wrong way to shuffle. Your shuffle can be slow like this, or your shuffle can be as fancy as a casino dealer. You just find what works for you. So I like to cut the deck. I'm going to actually adjust the camera so you can see my hands while I shuffle. So I cut the deck, and one thing you're going to learn if you decide to purchase more than one deck is that every deck shuffles differently. This deck I know it's like 80% easy to shuffle. The way the card stock is, some cards will just pop out of so if you look at this finger, some cards will just pop up while the rest shuffle. So let's see how it flows now that I've set the intention for this reading. Okay, and I like to go like that. So I do that a couple of times until I feel ready to shuffle to draw. So this is shuffling just to mix. This is just my process. I do two different versions of shuffling. All right, I feel ready to shuffle to draw. So remember home A and home B. And I'm gonna do 3 cards for each. This is how I shuffle to draw. And I wait for a card to pop out or where my body feels like, that's the one, okay? All right, so I got 2 here. All right, and then moved that way. This is home A. And then I just collect from the top to complete the layout that I intended for. So I shuffle to draw, and cards will pop out. And if it doesn't complete the layout, I set the ones that popped out, and then I draw from the top to complete the layout. So that's what I just did. Now I'm going to shuffle to draw again for home B. Home A, I'm going to call it, I know which house that is, and then home B, I know which house that is. Okay, this is home B. And I got all 3. So that's also something to notice is when you're shuffling to draw, and you're doing something like this where there's one category or like one section and then another section, just keep in mind which section needed more work and which section showed popped out complete. So home B popped out complete, and then home A I got 2, and then I had to manually draw the 3rd card. Okay, so I'm going to look at them, and then I will turn it around and I will show you. Home A, I got the 4 of Wands, 7 of Wands, and 2 of Swords. Okay, it's wand heavy, and it looks very busy. Okay, home B, I have 8 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, and 4 of Pentacles. Very interesting. So lately I have been leaning more towards home A, but there was one thing I did not like about home A. And that was that I didn't like the layout upstairs. This is a two-floor house, and then home B is a one-floor house. And what I didn't like about home B is there was so my main concern is having an office space, and home B doesn't have an office room. And the bathroom, if I were to bring clients in, would be sharing the bathroom that is used by one of the bedrooms. And I wasn't too crazy about that. But what I did like about home B is that it was one floor. I liked the layout aside from what I just mentioned. Um, this one I did like. And home B has an office room out separate from the bedroom count. And it had a playroom also separate from the bedroom count. So the rooms and the way the house was divided space-wise was great, but I didn't like the layout of the bedrooms upstairs. So now I'm going to address the cards. Now that I have given you that personal insight, we can talk about it through the lens of tarot. So home A, Four of Wands, Seven of Wands, and Two of Swords. The Wands tell me that there's a lot of heat. There's a lot of activity. And the Two of Swords tells me, I mean, just the image alone just tells me that it's mentally not imbalanced, but mentally it's like too much noise, it's too much activity. Um, so some part of me tells me that the office atmosphere that I would build with home A would be a little too much, a little too chaotic. I I kind of get the message that this workflow will feel overwhelming to me. So the Four of Wands, Seven of Wands, and the Two of Swords. I feel like it would be drawing in too much energy to keep up with, to manage, that I'll probably lose my inner voice. This could also mean that I would struggle balancing my home and work life. It doesn't mean that I cannot have work at home. It just means that that setup, the feng shui, might be a little too chaotic for me to balance work and home life. Whereas home B, I have Eight of Cups. And the woman, usually, like in the traditional tarot deck, the person in the Eight of Cups is usually walking away from you. This person is walking towards me. And that means she's leaving behind she's definitely on a path and on a journey, and it has been a dry journey. Like I don't see any grass or sign of life. It's just rocky and dry. And I take that as a symbol of the 3-year journey that I have been on to get to this point where I can now buy my house. And it has been an emotional process to leave behind the home that I had with my fiance, but emotionally, I'm not stuck there. Um, I don't feel so much grief over it anymore. I feel, pretty light coming out of that experience. Um, Home B does kind of bring in some elements of that home that I did have because it's a one floor home. I lived in a ranch and that's just one floor and I had a basement. And this one, this home B option is just one floor. And in Florida, they don't have a basement. So um, there's something about me walking towards myself here and this journey. Like you can see, it's like step by step by step by step by step, and these walls are made of rock. So I definitely feel like this is a great representation of where I'm starting, like where I am in this current moment as I draw these cards. And the other two cards are full of so much life all around. Like we're going from a really dry, rocky, even dark place to a bright, full of life place. So I have the Eight of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. And what I really like about this set is the Eight of Pentacles. I always relate to it being about like working hard and building your craft. And that's essentially what I'm hoping to get out of these homes, is the space where I can continue working and building this craft of mindful dose. And what's so precious to me about this Four of Pentacles is, four is half of eight. And I see this little boy in this picture, and I feel like that's a good symbol of my son. And this home B option is telling me that there's an opportunity for me to build and grow and really expand through my work, but also it's a great option for my son to also build and grow. Lately, I have been struggling as a parent to just keep a consistent routine for my 4-year-old son. Oh, and look at that. He's also 4. That's interesting. So, Four of Pentacles reminded me of my son, and he's now 4. Um, so, I feel that this home B option would allow for him to also steady his growth. The Pentacles for me is about investing your energy into something, and I feel like the home B option will give him the allowance to invest in his development, the consistent play and growth. So it is really looking like home B is the right option to support our development and our routine and our growth. Whereas home A, I can absolutely go this path, but I would have to be willing to navigate more energy. And so that is very interesting to me. It's very interesting because I have been waking up to the idea of home A. This is definitely a reading where I'll have to meditate on. Sometimes readings aren't going to land at that moment. You'll have to take the information from a reader or from the experience. So it's really great that if you work with someone who sends you a recording or a copy of your reading, because the messages and the things that were said and the imagery and the numbers, whatever is picked up from the reading will settle into your subconscious. And as you move through your day and you're doing the work to continue your path forward in the best direction that suits you and your goals and your family, whatever elements are involved, these little nuggets of information that have popped up in the reading will come forward into your conscious mind and will be like the little breadcrumbs that lead you along the way. So tomorrow I'm actually going to see both homes again, and I will take this reading with me in my mind and really feel it out. So now that I've done the tarot portion of the reading, I'm going to consult the astrology deck. So when I do the tarot reading, I usually pull an oracle card for each portion of the spread. So I have 2 portions. I pulled cards for house A and I pulled cards for house B. I'm going to intend to pull 2 cards for each of the options. The decks have the free range to give me more than 1 card, and I will show you if it happens in this example. I'll show you how the deck will give me those extra cards, but if it only provides that 1 card that I am intending to connect with, then it'll just be a 1 card for each section. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to cut the deck and shuffle it this way. So this is a oh my gosh, like a thicker cardstock, so it's hard to shuffle that way, but I still like to do it. It's also bigger in size, so my hand is more spread. All right, so when the cards don't push in forward, that's usually a sign for me to stop shuffling in that way. So I will just bring the cards together in whatever way feels natural in that moment. And now I'm going to shuffle to draw. So I shuffle to mix, and it asked me to stop. Now I'm going to shuffle to draw. 1 card here, 1 card here. I'm open to receiving more if so be it. All right, so this card Not sure if the camera caught that, but this card flew up on its own and then landed right here. So I want to show you what that looks like. See, it's not in line with the rest. So I'm pulling that out. That's for option A. And option B just flew out, but look at this card. It stuck out. So I'm going to take that out for option B. And since I have more here, I do like to complete the shuffle. And I have another one here. All right. So at this point, I feel like I'm running out of space. I'm just going to set this deck off to the side, which is totally fine because I'm at the end of the reading and I'm actually done with that deck. So the reason why I chose to continue drawing and let that be just for option B is because this completed its job. And I also want to remember that this was the layout where two popped up and then I had to work for that third one. And let's also look really quickly at that third card that I had to manually draw from the top. It's a Two of Swords. This doesn't really look like a peaceful card. We have a masculine energy here. We have a feminine energy here, both drawing a sword at one another at its lowest point too. And then there's this individual in the center with its hands covering its ears and its eyes closed. Its feet are placed firmly on the ground, pointing one at the masculine and one at the feminine. So it's kind of like I'm being pulled into two different directions here. And when I went with the Oracle card, I just got that one card. This section, being that it was so full of life with those pentacle placements, emotional, but very full of life, like a door has opened. I felt it was, I did not feel, I mean, I felt it was appropriate that three popped out. So as a reader, you'll learn how to work with the cards, but yeah, just that one card for option A and these three cards for option B. So let's start with option A. We have Mercury. Okay, Mercury is the first planet close to the sun in astrology. It is the planet of communication and methods of travel. It's indicative of just some communication matters. And the Two of Swords, the swords I usually do connect with communication. So I feel like what this card is, what the Mercury card is expanding on is just this message of the tarot spread. I don't feel like option A, I'll have a lot of mental peace. I feel like there will be a lot of anxiety or just overthinking involved with option A. Okay, so let's look at option B. Okay, I got the 9th house, Scorpio, and Taurus. Wow, okay, I really like that. And then I will explain why. Working with the stars divine, it's very helpful if you know astrology already. Even more helpful if you know the birth chart of the querent, the person who is asking the reading. So in this case, I'm the querent, and I know my birth chart very well. So my ninth house, the ninth house represents faith, expansion, and my ninth house is ruled by Jupiter, and my Jupiter is in the 8th house. My 8th house is in the sign of Scorpio. So I have Jupiter, I have the ruler of the ninth in Scorpio in the 8th house, and Taurus is opposite Scorpio. What I also have in my 8th house is the North Node. And I also have Pluto, which is not a traditional astrology perspective, but I'm just mentioning it here. So the North Node is in Scorpio and my South Node is in Taurus. Now, what that means for option B, I have felt through my journey, and this could be, several videos later, but I have felt that my mission, my North Node, my mission, lying in the eighth house with Jupiter there, um, is my mission with Mindful Dose. And it's going into some deeper topics. I do like meditation. I think it's a great um, gateway to better yourself. I think meditation just makes you a better you. The better me version is the one that is into this tarot stuff, is into tarot, is into astrology, and eventually down the line will be into mediumship, which I have certified in, but at this point in my life, it doesn't feel right to do that. But in the future, it's something I want to pursue further when my son is older. Um, Working with death doulas, maybe becoming a death doula, that's something that I'd like to do in the future. And that's very eighth house Scorpio oriented. Um, with the Scorpio and Taurus, what I, picked up on was just the North Node and South Node placements that I have within this axis. And with the ninth house, it was just kind of giving me that emphasis of Jupiter, the ruler of my ninth house, being in the eighth house. So option B really looks like the best option, the one that really lines up with me and will help me channel these goals and my journey. It's really beautiful. I love getting to the oracle cards because it always puts the cherry on top of the sundae for me. So I always say to my clients. It just further emphasizes the tarot portion. So I really feel option B is the goal here. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Um, you had a good reading when your reader is like, "Oh my gosh, this is great." So this brought a lot of clarity for me. And tomorrow, when I go to look at the two houses, option A and option B, I will update you guys in the comments below to let you know how that went. It will take a couple of months before I get to choose which house I proceed with. It could be a couple of weeks, it could be a couple of months. I really don't know. Like I said, the ball is in New York State's court. Um, but once I hear back, that'll be the moment for me to choose option A or option B. But tomorrow I get to see the houses once more, so it's like settled in my mind when the time comes for me to choose. I hope that you have enjoyed following this reading along with me. Um, Being a widowed mom is really hard. I have to show up for my son even when I'm in the depths of my grief. Now to show up like as a business, I love my business. I love doing my work. It has been really hard to fight against the changes that are constantly happening. And this reading, this moment to connect with you guys really brought me a lot of joy and peace. I hope to do this more often. It may look a little bit more busy and crazy. I mean, I have Black Panther here and I have the Hulk joining me. I don't always have help, so my son might pop in from time to time. Um, we'll see how these go. But if you liked this, well, let me know in the comments. It would be really nice. I would really appreciate it if you would, drop a little emoji of love and support for this process that we're going through. It's not easy. It's very lonely, even with hands-on help. It is a very lonely process, but I'm doing the best I can. And some of the ways that has helped me move and navigate forward is consulting the cards. So thank you so much. I'll check you guys next time.